Chapter 3. Council of War. The guest quarters were not much to look at. A narrow bunk, a built-in desk, a tiny refresher. One wall carried a viewport that showed nothing but the soft gleam of the Redemption's hull and a sliver of stars beyond. Superman sat on the bunk, elbows on his knees, letting his senses roam. He heard the steady heartbeat of the ship, the cycling of air scrubbers, the pulse of reactors, the rhythm of boots on deck plating. He heard a medic humming under her breath while changing a bandage, a pilot quietly reciting a flight checklist like a prayer, a mechanic cursing a stripped bolt. It was oddly peaceful, in a chaotic way. He found the datapad Kara had left him, its screen lit with a basic primer on the galaxy. The Alliance did not have much in the way of entertainment content to spare for guest orientation. What they did have was practical. He skimmed fast. The Galactic Republic, the Clone Wars, the rise of Palpatine, the Jedi Purge, the formation of the Empire, the first sparks of resistance. He read the words, Order 66, and felt a chill even without the details. The way the text described it, a contingency hidden in the very soldiers the Jedi trusted most, made his jaw clench. On Earth, a trail like that had names attached to it: Luthors, Darksides, men and gods who liked to pull strings. He closed the datapad and stared out at the stars. You are really not good at resting, are you? He turned. Kara leaned in the doorway, one shoulder against the frame. She had shed her formal jacket, leaving her in a simple duty shirt and vest. The circles under her eyes looked darker now that the adrenaline had worn off. You been spying on me through bulkheads? He asked. I have been alive long enough to recognize the look of someone trying to absorb a whole galaxy in one sitting, she said. Council session starts in 20 minutes. Figured I would walk you there before someone from protocol tried to insist you wear a uniform. The cape would clash, he said. Standing, she smirked. That cape is going to drive our quartermasters crazy. They set off through the ship. The corridors were a little less frantic now that the initial docking rush had settled. Word had spread. People stepped aside when they saw him, some nodding, some whispering. A few children peered around legs and doorways, eyes wide. One small boy in a flight mechanic's jumpsuit bloated out, "Mr. Superman, sir!" then promptly hid behind his mother. Superman stopped just long enough to crouch down and offer the kid a friendly wave. The boy peeked out, grinned nervously, and waved back. Fastest way to win over a crew, Kara said quietly as they moved on. Be kind to the deck rats. They remind me of kids back home, he said. Different galaxy, same expressions. The council chamber was near the frigate's central spine. 2 guards in simple uniforms and light armor stood outside the door. Superman noted their blasters were set to stun. Reasonable precaution. Kara keyed a panel. The door slid open. Inside, a circular space held a ring of consoles and hollow projectors. The floor sloped gently down toward a recessed center where a larger hollow table waited. Around the ring, a dozen people were already seated or standing. He recognized Mon Mothma immediately. Her white gown and calm bearing made her a fixed point in the room. Beside her stood a stocky, blue-skinned man with dark hair and a neatly trimmed beard. General Riekan, Kara whispered. On the opposite side of the circle, a tall, fish-like being with huge dark eyes and salmon-colored skin stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Admiral Akbar, the datapad had said, a veteran of 100 battles. There were others. Generals, admirals, representatives from different cells and sectors. Human, alien, all with the same tension in their stance. Every gaze slid to Superman as he entered. Counselors, Kara said formally. This is the one I told you about. No one spoke for a beat. Then Akbar cleared his throat, his gurgling voice surprisingly clear. You are the one who broke a Star Destroyer's tractor beam, he said, with your hands. Yes, sir, Superman said, though the hands are only part of the equation. A sense of humor, Mon Mothma murmured. That is something. She gestured toward the central hollow table. Please, step down. He descended the few steps into the recessed area. The space reminded him of the United Nations floor in New York. if the United Nations had been run from the back of a hospital ship. Mon Mothma remained standing. The rest of the council settled. "This session of the Alliance High Command is now in order," she said. "Subject: the anomaly encountered by the corvette Corvex and the potential threat or opportunity it represents." Superman folded his hands loosely in front of him. He resisted the urge to hover. Staying on the ground always made conversations go better. "Captain Ven's report is in your datapads," Mon Mothma continued. "But the short version is simple. In the middle of a routine resupply route, the Corvex was intercepted by the Imperial Star Destroyer Judicator. Tractor beams were employed. At that point, our guest arrived. Crashing through the hole, General Riakan said dryly. "I am working on gentler entrances," Superman said. A few of the council members exchanged startled looks, then small smiles. Humor broke tension that fear could not. "You then proceeded to break the Judicator's tractor lock and disable 15 of its TIE fighters," Mon Mothma said. "Without a ship, without apparent equipment." "That is accurate," Superman said. "The details are probably more dramatic on playback." "Drama is not our primary concern," Akbar said. "Tactics are. The Judicator is one of the Emperor's favored hounds. Its commander answers directly to Lord Vader in many engagements. You humiliated it in front of a rebel crew." "Humiliated is a strong word," Kara muttered under her breath. "It is the correct one," Akbar said. "It means the Empire will not ignore this. We must consider that your presence may draw disproportionate attention to any cell or fleet you are attached to." "Lord Vader felt it," another voice said. Superman turned. A man had entered quietly at the back of the chamber while they spoke. He wore dark clothes beneath a tan cloak, the hood pushed back to reveal sandy hair and a face still more boyish than stern. Luke Skywalker. Superman recognized him from the datapad photos, but the images had not captured the way the air seemed to bend slightly around him. There was a stillness there, underneath the nervous energy, the calm of someone who had looked into a vast darkness and survived. "Skywalker," Riken said. "I did not think you would make it in time. I was closer than Command realized." Luke said, stepping down into the central area. "Rogue Squadron completed our recon run early. When I heard," his blue eyes moved to Superman, "I had to see for myself." The two men stood a few paces apart. Luke was shorter, slimmer, with the posture of a pilot and the weight of too much responsibility on his shoulders. Superman was broader, taller, a physical impossibility in a simple blue suit. For a moment, the council chamber felt like the eye of a storm, with these two at its center. "You felt it?" Mon Mothma asked Luke. He nodded. "In hyperspace, on my way in. A spike in the Force, like something outside it had punched through. It was not light or dark. It was like—" He frowned, searching for words. "Like a meteor hitting a calm lake," he said finally. "The ripples are still spreading." Superman gave him a wary, curious look. "You feel people moving through that force," he said. "Sometimes," Luke said, "especially when they act on it. Vader feels it more strongly than anyone I have ever encountered, except the Emperor himself." Their eyes met. "If you can feel me," Superman said slowly, "can you read me?" Luke closed his eyes, just for a second, reaching. Superman felt something brush against him. A probing touch, like a hand extended in the dark. It met something inside him, but he had never named. The part of him that had always been aware of energy and motion, that aligned himself with the sun without thinking. The contact sparked. Luke's eyes snapped open. He took a half step back, more startled than hurt. "What did you see?" Mon Mothma asked. "Nothing," Luke said slowly. "I mean, not the way I usually do. When I touch someone through the Force, I get impressions, emotions, echoes. With him, it was like trying to listen to music in the middle of a thunderstorm." "Sorry," Superman said automatically. Luke laughed, quick and genuine. "That is a first. Someone apologizing for being too loud for the Force." "So he is not a Jedi," Riken said. "No," Luke said. "Whatever he is, it is not what I am, or what Vader is." "That is good," a Twi'lek general said. "The last thing we need is a new Force wielder we do not understand. Do you understand me, General Madick?" Luke asked quietly. The Twi'lek hesitated. Fair point, he conceded. Mon Mothma let the ripple of nervous humor pass, then brought the conversation back. Superman, she said, looking down at him. You have made your stance on tyranny clear. You oppose the Empire. You wish to help us as best you can. The question before this council is not whether that help is welcome. It is how we can use it without losing ourselves in the process. Meaning? Superman asked. Meaning we are not in the habit of building our strategy around one person, Akbar said. We have seen what happens when power concentrates. The Jedi were a check once, but they also became a target. We cannot become dependent on you, Mon Mothma said. If the Alliance becomes the people who have Superman instead of the people who stand up together, then when you are gone, we will collapse. Or if the Empire turns you, Maddox added bluntly. A chill moved through the room. Superman did not flinch. They can try, he said. They will fail. Do not be so sure, Luke said, very quietly. The Emperor has a way of finding the cracks in people. Their gazes met again. In Luke's eyes, Superman saw something haunted. The memory of facing Vader on Bespin, perhaps, or the revelation of his heritage. The datapad had not detailed that, but Superman could read the weight. The need to save everyone, even when that is impossible. But I also have people who taught me who I am, parents who showed me what it means to be decent, friends who keep me honest. You left them behind, Akbar said. Yes, Superman said. Which is why I am not interested in becoming anyone's weapon. I will help. I will fight. I will take hits that would destroy ships. But your cause has to be more than point him at the problem. Silence again. Finally, Mon Mothma nodded slowly. Then we start smaller, she said. We test what it looks like to integrate you into existing operations, instead of inventing something around you. What did you have in mind? Superman asked. Riken tapped to control. The holotable lit up between them. A small starfield appeared, then zoomed in on a lonely blue-white planet fringed with rings of debris. This is Voltor 3, he said. Outer Rim backwater. Used to be an independent relay station for commercial traffic. The Empire took it over 3 years ago and converted the orbital facilities into a military listening post. Listening for what? Superman asked. Us, Riken said. And anyone like us. There's Sentinel in that sector is too. The locals on the ground are neutral for now, but the presence of an Imperial garrison is pushing them toward open revolt. We want that revolt, but we need to blind the ears above them first. Luke studied the holo. You want to hit the station, he said. Take out its primary sensor array and data core, Riken confirmed. Make it look like an accident or a local uprising, not a clean rebel strike. That will give us a corridor to move supplies and personnel into that quadrant. Normally we would send a squad of Pathfinders, Maddox said. But the station is armored and well-staffed. Casualty estimates are high. So you send the invulnerable man, Superman said. We send a small team, Mon Mothma corrected. With you as part of it. You are strong, yes. But you do not know our tech, our codes, our procedures. Dropping you alone into an Imperial facility is a recipe for confusion. Luke nodded. And he sticks out, he added. A lot. Covert is not his strong suit. Superman shrugged. I can be subtle, he said. Kara raised an eyebrow from her seat. You arrived by punching through 4 decks, she reminded him. Point taken, he said. Riken flicked the holo controls again. A transparent overlay appeared on the station. Sections lit up in different colors. Primary mission objectives, he said, bringing 3 sections into focus. 1. Disable or destroy the high-gain sensor grid. That will create gaps in the local met. 2. Corrupt or erase the station's main data core, so any logs of rebel activity in the last 6 months are lost. 3. Keep Imperial casualties minimal. A few heads turned at that last one. Minimal? Maddox repeated. Not to be crass, but that is not usually on the objectives list. It is on mine, Superman said. Voice quiet but firm. I do not kill. You literally threw TIE fighters around like toys, Maddox said, and made sure the pilots survived. Superman replied, I understand this is a war. I am not naive. Sometimes people die, even when you try to prevent it. but I will not execute soldiers doing their duty, if there is another way. This is going to complicate things, Maddox muttered. Mon Mothma raised a hand. It will complicate some things, she said, and simplify others. The Alliance is not in the business of massacres. We hit military targets, destroy equipment, and try to limit collateral damage. His ethics are not as far from our own as you make it sound. Akbar nodded. Terror is the Empire's tool, he said. We cannot use it and expect to be different from them. Maddox subsided, even if he still looked skeptical. Luke looked thoughtful. You will not like some of what you see, he said to Superman. Even when we try to do the right thing, people get hurt. I know, Superman said. I will still be there, trying. Ryakan zoomed in further on the station's schematic. We can insert a small team using a stolen Imperial shuttle, he said. Transponder codes checked out 2 days ago. Superman provides muscle and insurance. The rest of the team handles slicing, charges, and making sure the Empire has no idea what really hit them. Kara raised a hand. I will lead the team, she said. Corvex's crew has the shuttle experience we need. And I have already seen what he can do in a fight. We cannot afford to lose you in a boarding action, Ryakan said. You are one of our better captains. You can afford to lose our chances in that sector even less, she shot back. Send someone who does not know how to talk to a man who can shove a Star Destroyer. What could go wrong? A few people snorted. Mon Mothma considered, then nodded. Captain Ven will lead, she said. Skywalker. Luke hesitated. If Vader is in that sector, I will sense him on approach, he said. If he is not, they do not need a Jedi for a station raid. Better to keep me with Rogue Squadron for now. Superman felt a faint coil of relief. He liked Luke already, but he was not eager to have the man with the glowing sword and the link to Vader standing next to him on his first real mission in this galaxy. One unknown at a time. Very well, Mon Mothma said. Captain Ven, assemble your team. Launch in 6 hours. Superman, you'll have that time to study whatever station specs we have. Dr. Ref and the med droid have cleared you for duty. The medical droid, standing unobtrusively at the back, gave a little offended beep. We did more than clear him, it said. We debated rewriting entire physiology protocols. Thank you, Doctor, Mon Mothma said dryly. Any final objections? Akbar shook his head. If this works, we gain a route and test the new variable at the same time, he said. If it fails, we learn just how fallible our new symbol is. Comforting, Superman murmured. Welcome to the rebellion, Kara said under her breath. The council began to disperse. Luke lingered near the edge of the well as Superman and Kara climbed out. Can I ask you something? Luke said. Of course, Superman said. Back home, Luke asked, you said you have dealt with tyrants. People with power like Vader. How did you stop them? Superman thought of Luthor, smiling behind glass. Of Zod, eyes blazing with fanatic certainty. Of Darkseid, standing on the ashes of worlds. Sometimes you talk to them, he said. Sometimes you outthink them. Sometimes you hit them very hard in the face and hope they stay down long enough to get them somewhere they cannot hurt anyone else. Luke's mouth twitched. My teacher would not like that last part. I am guessing your teacher is the one who speaks in riddles about the Force, Superman said. Oh yes, Luke said. He really does not like it when I solve problems by hitting them. Smart teacher, Superman said. Necessary teachers and I have a complicated relationship. Luke hesitated. If you ever want to try to feel the Force again, he said, I would like to be there, just to see what happens. Superman considered. If your thunderstorm can handle it, he said. After Valta 3, Luke nodded and stepped back, eyes thoughtful. As Kara led Superman out of the chamber, Mon Mothma watched them go. Do you trust him? Ryakan asked quietly, at her side. I trust what I saw, she said. A man who risked his life for people he had never met, minutes after landing in a galaxy he did not understand. That is a good start. Vader will see him as a threat, Akbar said. The Emperor too. Then we will have to be worthy of the distraction he provides, she said. Far away, in the black between systems, the Judicator dropped out of hyperspace near a lonely beacon buoy. In the meditation chamber, at the heart of the ship, Vader knelt amid holographic star maps and sensor fields. His breathing echoed off the walls. He reached out. The force flowed around him. He felt the familiar currents, fear from the crew, discipline from the officers, the endless whisper of life signs on nearby worlds. He reached further, seeking that peculiar static he had felt during the tractor beam's failure. For a moment, there it was, faint, like a distant storm flashing at the edge of vision. Not close enough to pinpoint, but unmistakable. Still in motion, he murmured. The door to the chamber slid open. An image flickered into the air. A hooded figure, face shadowed, eyes gleaming yellow. The Emperor's hologram bowed its head a fraction. "My apprentice," Palpatine said. "You have felt it." "Yes, my master." "A presence," the Emperor said. "Outside the Force, yet touching it. An amusing anomaly." "Powerful," Vader said. "He broke our tractor beam." "Power without understanding," the Emperor sniffed. "It will burn out, or be extinguished. Regardless, its arrival is interesting." "What do you wish of me, my master?" Vader asked. Palpatine smiled thinly. "Do not chase shadows," he said. "The rebellion is planning something. They always are. Your task is unchanged. Crush them wherever they gather. If this Superman stands with them, he will fall with them. And if he survives," lightning crackled faintly in the hologram's fingers, "then we will see if we can turn his crackling thunder into a song more to our liking." The hologram vanished. Vader stared at the empty space for a long moment, then stood. "Set course for the Valtor sector," he said to the waiting officer outside. "Increase patrols around all listening posts. The rebels are blind in some areas. They will seek to blind us in others." "Yes, Lord Vader." The officer hurried away, heart racing. In the hangar bay of the Redemption, Superman stood beside a battered Imperial shuttle painted in hastily applied Alliance gray. Its wings were folded up, dorsal fin jutting like a shark's dorsal above its squat body. Kara walked around it with a datapad, checking hull seals and transponder codes. Dr. Reth emerged from the shuttle's ramp, wiping grease off his hands. "Hyperdrive motivator is as good as it is going to get without Imperial-grade replacement parts," he said. "Which we do not have." "It will hold for a short hop," Kara said. "That is all we need." Besides Kara and Superman, 4 more figures approached. One was Sella, her blue skin almost glowing under the hangar lights, a compact blaster at her hip, and a small toolkit slung over her shoulder. "Slicing rig is clean," she said. "No traceable signatures. If they catch me, it will be purely my fault." "Always reassuring," Kara said. Next to her was a human man with a shaved head, scar over one eye, wearing light armor and a grim expression. "Tanis Rule," he said to Superman, offering a hand. "Explosives and close quarters work. I blow the things she tells me to blow." "Nice to meet you, Tanis," Superman said, shaking his hand carefully. A tall, furred being with long arms and a bandolier of tools rumbled something in Shiriwook. "This is Druve," Kara translated. "Engineer, mechanic, and, if needed, door opener." Druve bared his teeth and what was definitely a grin and thumped his chest. The last member of the team was small, quiet, and almost invisible until he spoke. A grey-skinned, big-eyed being from a species Superman did not recognize, wearing a cloak full of pockets. "Name's Peak," he said. "I make things disappear, or appear where they are not supposed to." "Pickpocket," Superman guessed. "Logistics and infiltration," Peak corrected primely. "The hands just come with the job." Kara holstered her blaster and looked at them all. "We are not a strike team for the holodramas," she said. "We are a shuttle full of very tired people with one very unusual friend. We go in quiet, we do our job, we get out. No heroics." Her eyes flipped to Superman on that last word. He raised his hands. "I will follow your lead," he said. "This is your war. I am just borrowing it for a while." "Good," she said, "because if you get yourself killed before I can yell at you for scaring my crew, I will never forgive you." The ramp hissed open fully. Superman took one last look around the hangar. Medics, pilots, techs, officers. A dozen worlds worth of faces, all with the same fragile hope. He thought of Metropolis, of Lois, of the daily planet globe against a normal blue sky. Hold on a little longer, he thought, as if his world could hear him across realities. I am working on it. Then he followed Kara up into the shuttle. Engines spooled up. The bay doors opened. As the Imperial shuttle lifted away from the Redemption and slid into the starlit black, Luke Skywalker watched from a side viewpoint, hand resting on the hilt of his lightsaber. He reached out, just for a moment, feeling the currents. The Force flowed. There was the familiar presence of Kara, sharp and steady. Sella, quiet and focused. Tanis, Pick, Druve, each a small but distinct spark. And then there was Superman. Luke felt him as a pressure, like a storm front moving across an ocean. Not part of the Force, but heavy enough to make its surface ripple. This is going to change things, Luke murmured. He did not know yet how. Out in the Valtor sector, a lonely Imperial listening post gleamed against the curve of a blue-white world. Inside, stormtroopers on boring rotation leaned on their rifles. Officers sipped kaf and grumbled about outer rim duty. Aboard tech watched blip after blip scroll past their sensor screens. None of them knew yet that destiny, in blue and red, was already on its way. And somewhere in the dark between stars, Darth Vader adjusted his ship's course by a fraction of a degree. The line between hunter and hunted had just become a little more complicated.